Alright, you guys, replay watchers, welcome. Today, like I said, what we're going to be doing is making a couple dishes. If this is your first time here, my name is Patrick. I'm the creator of All Day I Eat Like a Shark, where I share my Japanese recipes and cooking knowledge. Once a week, we're doing live cooking on Wednesdays at 6 o'clock for the summer season. And I have a few more episodes to go before I'm going to take a little bit of a break and work on a little cookbook for you. So before we get started, let's talk about what we're going to be cooking today. So we're going to be doing a Japanese eggplant side dish. It's a miso glazed eggplant. It's super easy to make, super delicious. And in addition, we're also going to be making some Japanese style pasta. Also with some shiso leaves, which we're going to be using also for the eggplant. Really delicious. And some of my favorites. So I hope that you guys are excited as I am. I know that I am very hungry, and these recipes are very delicious and super easy to make. So let's get right into it. Okay, so I have a different setup today. I have my main camera, which we're looking at right now, and then I also moved my other camera over here just to give you a little bit of a different view. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to show you was just some of the, if this is your first time here also, this is the recap of what we've been cooking so far. So the first thing that we did was miso glazed cod, black cod. We also did a summer somen noodles with homemade mentsuyu or noodle soup base. We also did a potato salad, miso marinated chicken, as well as, I think it was gomae, as well as a fake unagi or eel using tofu and yamaimo, which is a Japanese mountain yam, and that's what we have on the screen right there. So those are the last 4 episodes. Today's episode 5, and let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing, I have several eggplants here. Let's see. My chat's not working, so forgive me if I can't see what you're saying, but let me know where you're tuning in from and what your favorite way to eat shiso is, since that's kind of like our star ingredient today. These are shiso leaves. Smell delicious. So I have 6 eggplant here. What we're going to do first is cut them in half, and then we're going to cut off the tops and the bottoms, and then we're going to score them lightly with a knife. And this helps to cook the eggplant quickly, since there's more surface area within the flesh that's exposed to the heat. It's a little trick to cook eggplant quickly before they turn brown. So if you've ever had problems with your eggplant turning brown, could be because they cook slowly. Is one of the reasons that I've seen is a reason, or is one of the things that causes your eggplant to turn brown when you're cooking it. So if you cook it fast, like in high heat on a wok with oil, that will prevent it from turning brown. If you know other reasons or other ways that you can prevent it from turning brown, let me know. Because who likes to eat brown eggplant? I like my eggplant purple. I don't know about you. Alright, so I have 6 Japanese eggplant here. As soon as we cut off the tops, we're going to cut the little bottom pieces off, cut them in half. And I guess I forgot to mention that we're also going to be making a mentsuyu, or noodle soup base. It's the same recipe that I used, I published earlier, I think it was last week. I have the link in the description below. I'm going to put it on if it's not there yet. And basically the recipe is straightforward. So it's 2 cups of dashi. This is ichiban dashi that I made, and I froze it, but then I thawed it, so it's just as good as the day I made it. It smells delicious. That dashi recipe is also on my YouTube channel and my website, alldayit.com, if you haven't seen it before. So there's 2 cups of ichiban dashi. You can use dashi packs or dashi powder. You just need 2 cups of it. A 1/4 cup of mirin, and then a 1/4 cup of usukuchi shoyu, which is light soy sauce. So it's a little bit different. It has a higher sodium content than regular soy sauce, and it also has a lighter color too. So that's the mentsuyu. We're going to bring this to just about a boil and let it simmer. I'm going to put it on the back burner. I also have some hot water or not hot water. I have some water that's been salted for the pasta. I'm going to turn on the heat for that, get that started. So the mentsuyu will be done in about 5 minutes. Pasta water should be boiling pretty soon. And then I'm going to put back my big pan. This is what we're going to saute the eggplant in. Turn off the heat for now. And let's go ahead and cut these eggplant in half, and then we'll score them. Let's see. Make sure that everything is going okay. Give me a second. So for cooking the eggplant, we're just going to saute them in olive oil. And like I mentioned, we want to score these. So we're going to just put in maybe like a 1/4 inch of an incision using your knife, your kitchen knife, and that'll help the eggplant to cook quickly and evenly. Okay, so I'm just going to do it diagonally on each piece. So about a 1/4 inch deep. Like I said, it helps to increase the surface area so the heat will penetrate each of those incisions. It's a little trick. I'm going to go ahead and preheat my saute pan. I'm just going to use extra virgin olive oil. Put in a tablespoon or 2. And keep scoring these other ones. Doesn't need to be perfect. And what we're going to do after is saute these for about 3 to 4 minutes until they're heated through. And while they're cooking, we're going to go ahead and create the miso glaze sauce that we're going to be finishing the eggplant with. And it'll be nice and thick and full of flavor because we're using dashi stock, number 1. And number 2, we're using miso paste. So miso and dashi both have a lot of umami compounds within, which bring out a lot of flavor and will make this a success in your kitchen, hopefully. Okay. So this is, I think this is just about getting there. So this is a pound of spaghetti, or actually this is not spaghetti, this is chitara, which is like spaghetti but not really. 500 grams, I'm just going to use half of it. And this is actually the best pasta, dried pasta that I found. If you want really good Italian style pasta, this is from Italy. I don't know, it's from Abruzzo. I think it's in Tuscany somewhere. But this is like some of the best dried pasta I've found in the States. So I highly recommend that you get this. It will make your pasta taste like you're eating pasta in Italy, literally. So that's that. Pan's preheat. I'm going to go ahead and throw these inside part down. Oops, one of these pieces broke off. I scored it a little bit too much. So while the eggplant is starting to cook, we're going to have to do it in batches since I could only fit about half. But you're going to prepare the miso glaze. So 3 tablespoons of miso. I used regular white miso, 1/4 cup of mirin. This is katakuriko, or potato starch, 2 teaspoons dissolved in about a tablespoon of water, and a cup of dashi stock. So this is going to be our base sauce. So it looks like my mentsuyu is simmering now. I'm going to turn off the heat, or put it on low for a second. We're going to go ahead and mix this all together. So just put in the mirin into the dashi and then the miso paste. And try to break up the miso paste as much as you can. If you can't break it all the way, it's no big deal. And get the spatula. All right, so you can see they're getting nice and brown, which is what you want. That brings out a lot of the flavor. It's the Maillard reactions. It's the same thing that happens to coffee when you're roasting it, and any other types of food that brown. I'm going to grab a plate. And then we'll cook the other batch of eggplants. And once those are cooked, we're going to throw in this sauce. And then we'll throw all the eggplants in there together. And then let them simmer for a few minutes. And then we'll cook or add in the potato starch with water. And this will thicken it right up. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the heat for the mentsuyu. I think the alcohol flavor should just about be, the alcohol smell should just about be gone. Yep. So that's ready to go. We're going to be using that for the pasta like I mentioned. So eggplant. I don't know where my tongs went. Just use some chopsticks. So I'll take these out. And we'll put in a little bit more oil. This one needs to cook a little bit more. And then we'll be able to marinate them in the miso glaze. And they will be done. Put in another tablespoon or so of olive oil. And let me know what you guys think of this setup with the different camera angle. If you prefer to see my stove or the cutting board, let me know. I can always move it around too. I think next time I'm going to cut these eggplants smaller. They always vary in size. Sometimes they're little, sometimes they're big. Today they're on the big side. All right, so as soon as the water is boiling, it's starting to boil, we can put in the pasta. Like I said, we're just going to do a ½ pound. What we can also do is get the sesame seeds toasted. So this is going to be for the pasta. I'm just going to throw it in my little cast iron pan. I'm not going to do it yet because I got a lot of things going on, so don't want them to burn on accident. So we'll just hold off on that for a second. All right, so you see how nicely brown these eggplant got? That's about what you want. And you want to flip these over about halfway through, so maybe after a minute and 30 seconds or so, or after you notice that they're getting nice and brown, that's a good time to flip them. And just give these a couple more minutes, and then we'll throw on the miso glaze that we just made. Okay. So the next thing that we need to do is slice the shiso leaves. I don't know how many this is. This looks like it's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll just cut up about 15. So we'll just do 1½ bunches, and then we'll be able to use this to season both the eggplant and the pasta. So I always cut off the stems. I don't really like eating the stems. You can roll these up, kind of like you do with basil, to cut them quickly if you like. It's totally up to you. Okay, so I'm going to turn down the heat a little bit. Okay, so those just need another minute or so to cook. Almost boiling, not quite. Let's go ahead and cut this open. Oh yeah, so if you want things to be on a little bit of a sweeter side, I recommend that you put in some honey. I usually just put in a couple drops to balance out the flavor, round everything out. So 3 little drops. Okay, so I'm just going to put everything back in. We'll add in the miso dashi mixture. And if you get big clumps, don't worry, just try to mix everything up. We'll let this cook for a few minutes, and then we'll put in the potato starch, katakuriko slurry. We're going to have to, if it separates like it did right here, you just want to mix it up so you don't get clumps. Okay. It smells so good. And the scoring that we did on the eggplant also helps the sauce to get absorbed into the eggplant flesh. So it not only cooks it better, but it also absorbs more of the miso flavor. So doing 2 things at once. It's a good thing. Okay, so I think my pasta is still not boiling yet. Is we can go ahead and get the sesame seeds toasted. So toast those until they get fragrant. And slightly browned. I cut open my pasta here. I used to be all about cheap pasta until I found this stuff. And I've never looked back since. It makes such a big difference, the type of pasta that you use. Let me know if you agree. And you can tell, the way that you can tell if a dried pasta is good is you can look at the texture. So if you see a rough texture, that means that the pasta will make the sauce stick to it, as opposed to like a smooth looking pasta, which is usually what those 99-cent per pound pastas look like. They look very smooth. So you want pasta that's very rough looking like this. So I don't know if you could see it showed on the other camera. So this is the brand Resticella d'Abruzzo. Highly recommended. All right, so I'm going to turn down the heat here on the eggplant. You want to make sure that your eggplant, for the most part, looks yellowish. So you can see there's a little bit, this piece right here has a little bit of a white section, so that means that it's raw. So I'm going to put that under the broth so that it cooks all the way through. But most of these other ones are pretty much done. I think, okay, that was just about ready. I'm going to give my sesame seeds a stir. Turn off the heat for my sesame seeds. I'm going to add in the pasta, so we're going to do a ½ pound like I mentioned. So just eyeball this. Okay. So there's the pasta. Make sure that all of that goes in. Turn off the heat there. So I think my eggplant are just about ready. I'm going to throw in the sauce thickener. And you'll notice as soon as we add in the potato starch slurry, the katakuriko slurry, the sauce will thicken up right away. If you can't get potato starch, if you can't find it for whatever reason, it's on Amazon. If you don't want to order it from there, you can just use cornstarch. You can substitute it in a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, so ready? You want to make sure to stir it up right away because you don't want to get clumps, which will happen if you don't stir it up. So I'm just going to put it in the middle. And it's going to be like miso gravy almost. All right, so I'm going to turn off the heat for the eggplant. It is ready to be eaten. Next thing that we have to do is cut up the shiso leaves into little slices. Pasta takes about 9 minutes, so it should be ready at about 6:30-ish. Just going to go ahead and slice these into little bits. So shiso is one of those things that you want to eat it the same day because it's aromatic and all the flavors I feel like are dulled, or they get dull the next day. So if you're using shiso, make sure to use it up on the first day. So this is maybe about a half cup's worth, one big handful. That's how much I'm using. Pasta is boiling. I'm going to make sure that it's not clumped together. Turn down the heat a little bit. Okay, where's my little Pyrex? So the mentsuyu that we made is what we're going to be seasoning this pasta with, along with olive oil. I'm going to do about a 1/4 cup, 3 tablespoons to a 1/4 cup, roughly. It doesn't need to be exact. And you want to use good extra virgin olive oil. Makes a big difference. So there's that. I'm actually going to put, or should I put the mentsuyu in a different container? Because what we're going to do next is we're going to cook the garlic for the pasta. So I'm going to pour this out into this Pyrex cup. And if you don't want to use homemade mentsuyu, you can buy it at the market. They sell it in concentrate and also unconcentrated. It's called storeto. It's usually how they sell it. Storeto means straight in Japanese, so it can be used right away. And I'm going to go ahead and put my olive oil into this pot. We're going to create our garlic-based sauce. We're going to crush 4 cloves of garlic. We're going to cook it to decrease some of the sharpness. And then we're going to also add in some tomatoes. Tomatoes with shiso and mentsuyu taste really good. So that's going to be our base. If you don't have a garlic crusher, highly recommend that you get one. This is one of my favorite kitchen utensils or tools. I used to mince garlic by hand, but crushing it is much faster and yields a better result. Okay, so eggplant's done, sesame seeds are done. Just going to cook the garlic for about a minute or so before we combine it with the mentsuyu to make the sauce. And because we're using a straight unconcentrated version, we want to thin it out just a little bit, so we'll simmer this for about 5 to 10 minutes until it gets a little bit less liquidy. It's totally up to you though. If you want like a more of a liquidy sauce, then just leave it the way it is. And the good thing about this pasta that we're making is it tastes good when it's cold also. So like on a nice hot summer day, this would be a nice refreshing lunch or dinner. All right. So we're going to crush the garlic and crush it right into the olive oil. Put the olive oil on low heat. This is 4 cloves. Gotta be careful when you crush the garlic. I've had garlic juice squirt in my eye. Does not feel good. Okay, so that's ready to go. Put that on low heat. And then get my strainer ready for the pasta. So I have some tomatoes here. I think they taste better with this sauce that we're making when they're raw. But if you want cooked tomatoes, you can do that as well. But today we're just going to be doing it raw. I'm going to go ahead and serve the eggplant because that is ready, as you can see. It's delicious looking eggplant. So that's how it oh shoot, almost lost my chopsticks. So this is how it looks, cooked. If you want, you can drizzle some of the miso glaze over it. It's nice and thick. Turn out the heat on my garlic. I'm just going to turn it off. And then we're going to garnish this with some shiso leaves. And that's the eggplant side dish that we were making today. Ready to eat. Okay, so I'm going to check the pasta. It's been about 8 minutes. I don't think it's ready just yet, but let's double check. Nope. Needs another minute. It's getting hot in here by the fire, I'm telling you. Just checking on the live stream, making sure that it's going okay. Appears to be. Okay, so strain pasta water. We can go ahead and make the sauce. Garlic. It looks like it's a little bit raw still, so I'm going to mix it up. When it's slightly browned, cut out some of that sharpness. And shoot. Okay, so the eggplant is done. Sesame seeds. I'm gonna put this somewhere. Sesame seeds need to be ground. I'm going to grind just about all of them. Sometimes I like to do halfway, half ground, but today we're going to do all of them. Okay, I think the pasta should be done. Go ahead and make some space. All right. So we're going to use this pot again. to mix everything together. So just let this drain out all the way. We don't want a dilute sauce. And let's go ahead and move this stuff around. I'm going to bring that there. And for the sauce, which we're making now, we're just going to add in the mentsuyu that we made. Let's see. This is 2 cups worth. So we're going to put in about a 1/4 cup. And turn on the heat. And we're just going to reduce it a little bit. Once we grind the sesame seeds, we're going to also add that to the mix. I'm going to put the pasta back in the pot. I'm going to cut up the tomatoes and add the sauce to the pasta, and then dinner will just about be ready. So I'm going to turn the heat to low so it simmers a little bit. I want it to reduce. I'm going to grind some of the sesame seeds. The good thing about this pasta is that it's very flexible, so you can use this as a base and add other things to it. Like I've added tuna and avocado, I found have worked really well. Like I said, you could also cook the tomatoes if you want. Okay, so I think that looks good to me. Turn down the heat here. Throw on some cracked pepper, additional flavor. Throw it in the garlic, olive oil, and mentsuyu mixture so that all those flavors get infused with each other. And I think that's going to be just about it. So, hello, whoever it is that just joined. We're just about wrapping up. All right, so let's see. I'm going to do a taste test of my eggplant. See how it goes. While we're waiting. So good. So you can see here how liquidy the sauce is. Like I mentioned before, we use straight mentsuyu, so if you want to use concentrated, it'll be a little bit thicker. And if you want it even thicker than this, what you can do is just reduce it. But I think it looks just fine to me. I'm going to go ahead and add it to the pasta. We'll stir it all in. And then we'll mix in the tomatoes. Turn off the heat there. Oh yeah, it smells so good. Super garlicky, just the way I like it. So we'll put on, I don't know, two of these tomatoes. We'll dice them up into little squares, just so that they get more of their flavor. Sorry, it's really hot in here. Should have worn shorts today. And one thing to keep in mind is if you have a really juicy or watery tomato, it's going to water down your sauce a little bit. So just keep that in mind. Don't add too much tomato. Or I guess you could use cherry tomatoes. That way those won't leak all of their juices into the sauce. That could be a good alternative to cutting up some tomatoes like I just did. All right, so I'm just going to mix the tomatoes in. I'm going to throw on some shiso, maybe about half of that, so about a quarter cup's worth. Oh man, this is going to be so good. Okay, we're going to go ahead and serve it on my little pasta plate here. You should just use the chopsticks. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to put in the sesame seeds. So all the sesame seeds went right in. Adds another dimension of flavor. If you don't like sesame seeds, don't do it. Obviously. So I'm just going to put half of this. Throw on these tomatoes. As you can see, most of the sauce is gone. Got soaked up by the pasta, which is what you want. Okay. Whew, heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. All right, so here's a close-up of the pasta, finished pasta. I'm going to put on a little bit of black pepper, and then we'll do a taste test. All right. All of that hard work, not too bad, right? Just about 36 minutes, 36 minutes roughly. And we did an appetizer and a main, so pretty efficient today. Delicious. I love it. All right, guys, so this was my Japanese eggplant with a miso glaze. Should put a few more on here before I take some pictures. And then my Japanese style pasta with shiso mentsuyu and tomato and a little bit of sesame seeds. Really delicious. Definitely feels like summer. And hopefully you guys get a chance to try these. They're pretty easy to make and they taste really good. So if you guys have any questions or comments, make sure that you leave them below. Other than that, I will see you in my next live video, which may be later this week. We shall see. So, thanks for tuning in. And I'll put the recipes in the description. And actually, I might as well just make I didn't make a blog post for it today, but I guess I'll just go ahead and do that as well. So thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Oh yeah, and you YouTube guys, if this is your first time here and you liked what you saw, let me know by leaving me some comments or feedback, any questions. Also, question of the day, what is your favorite way to eat shiso, the perilla leaves that we have been using? And that's about it. So thanks again, and see you next time.